Morning movie. I just woke up, slapped a little color on my face, in my jammies. Not quite professional, but anyway, busy weekend and I wanted to do this. So, to start from the beginning, and I know I'll get to a question. Hi, everybody, and hi, nobody. Whether you're listening or not, the universe is. So that is good. I hope the volume's okay. Anyway, we'll see. I wanted to start with just remembering, first of all, how hard sharing is. I have someone coming to visit me in a couple of weeks, and somebody very has been very close to me, a young lady who is related to me and I care about very much. And that's not the only one. I mean, as you go through life, yeah. I mean, I'm 73, and I guess the most difficult thing in my entire life is communication. I have always made it probably too big, but it's actually always been important to me. And I don't mean dumping, I mean sharing thoughts about either what's going on and you want to dissect it, or you want to share it in a beautiful way to understand things. And so that tends to be, for me, a big draw in life, or the draw. I have to maybe say the draw in life is to share. And I guess that's like having a baby. It is having a baby without being pregnant, or being pregnant with thoughts, feelings, and perceptions, and having to birth it in an understandable way. So that's how it seems to me. So here I am. When I started these videos, I was so afraid to do this. It was not funny. So I didn't want to feel like I was talking to anybody, and I didn't want to care how I looked, and I didn't want to do everything that I feared. I kind of wanted to do and get it over with. And that's good, because that's what I did. Now I do want to go back to sharing. I really do want to share. And I did from the very beginning. But I was too afraid to do that, so I had to do it indirectly. I had to share anyway, or I would never do it. And being, and my body being at these amount of years, it's not going to do any good to not share, because then I won't be walking out of my body having done the best that I could It's not a rating game. It's not a competition. It's just a draw. It's just a draw to share and give. And if you can't do that the purest way that you can, because it's not like just sharing a cup of coffee with someone in the morning, or it's not like just sharing a day. I've shared many days with many people, and that still seemed very limiting, very, very, very limiting. And so I want to fling the doors open. I've used that expression before. I want to fling the doors open for it to be in a bigger way. In a bigger way. Just in a bigger way. Okay. So then I find that, of course, when Rupert shares, understanding pours into me. And then bringing that outward in my own way is just like the beginning of these videos for me. It's like fearful. I try too hard instead of not trying at all and just let it come. So lately I've been doing the latter, trying to relax and just let me be as I am. And so things on the outside of me are come from the finite self, because my expression and my words I'm working on. I write a lot. Well, I write much better than I do these live things. And so I want to make sure I keep doing these live things so that I can do that as well as write. But then, if someone reads anything I write, so I shouldn't say I do it better, because if anyone reads anything that comes out of me that I write, I'm not sure that they understand it. When I was much younger, I wrote a poem and someone bought it, and they bought it. They were writing a book about, it was about my inner hurts and pains and vulnerability, and they bought the poem. They worked with these things of the earth that were powerful, like volcanoes and these things. So I expressed my emotions enough so that it related to a volcano. And so I was glad. I was like, wow. So it said something to somebody is just different. The perspective was different. And so that was my understanding at the time, was, wow, my words, I guess, don't have to get across what I'm trying to say. Or should I say, it might come across to each person individually so much different. And I know even when Rupert is sharing, I see through the questions that come up how it's misunderstood. But then again, he has time to spend with those each question, which I love. But he has time to spend with each question to make it clear, and then come at it in a different way and make it clear, and come at it in a different way and make it clear. Just on and on and on until that individual gets a little bit more than where they were. And they always do, seems. Be very rarely that they don't, because of his attentiveness to that understanding for that individual, or for that limited self. So that's what I guess. I don't have anyone that's asking questions, so, but I know so many thousands of questions I've asked in my life, and I know I've seen and been with and had relationships with people that questions are from other people I can come up with in a second. And I haven't been doing that, and I said that I would, so that's something I have to concentrate on, or not, let that come to me if I ponder it and see what's there in the world of thoughts, in awareness, when I speak to awareness. So yeah, just even beginning with I am, and the naming of I from what we call ourselves, and how that beginning from before there were any qualifications of anything, and awareness sits in this ever-present space, which are the only words I know to choose for the description of awareness in the ever-present space. Call it a space, call it ever-present, okay? So that's one thing, sometimes you think of questions that would be asked, and answering them isn't easy with our words, because, well, they are unanswerable, but you have to be creative, as an artist would be, to try and pick and choose words and put them in an order that the brain can imagine as close as possible what that might mean. So, but yeah, I'm way off track, because I was talking about a visitor I had, and I think that was pertinent that I got off track for those particular reasons, but because it is about communication and relationships, and how they're so minimal, and they're so, I don't want to use this deconstructively. When I say the word shallow, I mean limited. Communication with folks has a very limited sphere. In my experience of who I've surrounded myself with. So the limiting sphere of folks that I have spent the majority of my time with in my lifetime span has been very limiting. So when I have this visitor coming up, in my gut, this limited self of me is selfish, and is dreading the visit, because it's going to be so constrictive and limiting, because I want so badly for the relationship to be expansive and get and break those walls, but I know and see, okay, this is what I wanted to talk about today, is knowing. Because in my meditations lately, and my jogs where I just let things be. That's one thing. That's another thing I have been doing really well at, is letting myself be my limited self, because that's who we are. And but yeah, when we go back and back and back, we're in that awareness. We think we don't want to come back, but we do, because that's what awareness sees through is us. So we do want to be here, and we all are what we are, and all of that is good. So when I've been jogging, and when I have been expressing everything, I've just been here. So I've just been expressing here. Just doing what life calls me to do here. And that's it. I'm not. You know, it's funny. I used to think of the past and present, and I never was here. So this is huge for me. So when I say this, it's like Rupert says, you know, you have a headache all this time and you don't even know when it went away. It might be a really, you know, this headache, it's just there, and you go and you do what life calls you to do, and you do that, and you do that with all of you. You know, you're just doing that. And then all of a sudden you think, oh, when did my headache go away? And you don't know, you don't remember. Well, that's like that for me in this here thing. Because the past and present, I used to ponder that, going, gosh, all I live in is past and present. That's it. I'm not here. So, just now, as I'm speaking to you, I'm thinking, wow, that's not true anymore. So, okay. But now, I am presenting here about a future visit, and so that is popping into the future. And when I think about it, which I'm here most of the time, but in this particular invite that's happened, when I think about the visitor or the visiting, I constrict. So, it's going to be interesting. I just have to let it be, and be in the moment, and see what happens in this moment, or in that, you know, this moment. So, I just wanted to throw that out there, because we have been talking about communication, and I like to share where I'm at, regardless. Okay, so the whole purpose of this talk is, I feel like the knowing is so misunderstood. When I speak to people, if I speak, I don't speak to people about this, I mean, except through here, and well, that's it. I know when I have tried to speak about this with someone close to me, it was entangled with so much stuff. I felt like I was in a spider web. It wasn't a good, you know, I mean, I was like, ooh, yikes. It didn't go anywhere. Needless to say, I zipped it quickly and remained silent, and listened. And that was good for that relationship. Relative of very close relative of mine. But I don't see that person often, but I would love to. But feeling that way, I don't love to. As this limited self, it's like an owie. Anyway, the knowing. So, as I've been doing my life, as life has called me to do, I'm needed to do whatever it is in a day. This knowing has popped up. I mean, awareness, and that description of awareness that I put before us in this I've put before I've said in this video, about, okay, I'm losing my train of thought. Okay, we're talking about the knowing and how that's popped up for me. Anyway, so when I think about that's what I was going to say. Okay, when I think about awareness and I think about that description I gave you before about it being ever-present space, then the motion from that being this ever-present mind and thoughts within it. So as I've been here doing life, this knowing, the thoughts that are passing through, the hugeness, the overwhelming feeling of how huge, how we can't even imagine the endless awareness of mind, that motion of that ever-present space. Like Rupert said one time, he said some story, and I don't remember who to what, but I remember it being something like, if you know God, then how could you dare say the name? You know, it's so huge. So you can't know awareness. It's impossible. You're the dream of awareness. Your finite and limited self is the dream. Awareness can't know you because it would limit awareness, and you can't know awareness because it's so big. So, but anyway, but just that click of overwhelmedness that almost made me giggle because awareness is knowing, and we're awareness knowingly, if that's how I see that. That's the truth of, for me. um, I believe that, well, I don't, it's not a belief, it's about experience. So anyway, um, the knowing is that purity of awareness, that activity of awareness. And I am awareness knowingly. And it's not, that thought is not heavy like a responsibility like I felt before in my life when I took responsibility for myself at 57. It was a huge responsibility that claimed some kind of control of everything. So this is different. So, because awareness is, the activity of awareness is knowing, is that huge mind of knowing, pure knowing, not knowing this, not knowing that, not that, but pure just knowing. So, we're the ones, well, our limited selves say I am this and I am that and I am this and I am that. And we're awareness knowingly. So those thoughts that come up in our mind are from awareness. And they're, I have to use the word infinite, and that compares to finite. It's not the right word, but I'm using it, that infinite or ever-present thoughts, let's put it that way. So the mind of awareness is ever-present thoughts. And so it's awareness's thoughts that we are grabbing to create this dream through us to do life. So we're grabbing these thoughts that are passing by. So it's a weird thing, but it's come over me so huge. I mean, really, actually, how we have created where we are. So when you think about suffering, and you think about all the corruption, this, that, all these things happening, bombarding us, it's our knowing. Whatever we know will manifest. And yes, it's all awareness. It's all those thoughts are awareness, and it's open, honest, pure potential. And we don't even know. We blindly pick, or when a thought goes through, we grab whichever ones we want. And we have created where we are. So as a collective, it's showing what we've collected. The collective is showing what we've collected in the way of thoughts, in the way of knowing. Our knowing has created this life as we see it. So we're painting the picture, but I always knew we were painting the picture, but it's like now I can hold that. I know how it comes from awareness and exactly how that happens. So when that came to me, I had to giggle because it was like, wow, because it's something I already, of course what we know comes to be. But I felt, that's one thing in my life, all the way up to 57, is I didn't use my head. I was feeling my way through. So, yeah, that's a whole other story. But nonetheless, we've all chosen what to know from that knowing. And so that's why we see it the way we know it is. So, I could say I don't, to eliminate some of these things in the way here. I don't want to neglect or deny or what's happening in the world. But I do want to unknow that. I do want to paint a different picture. So I want to know, I want to just be here and do what I just want to share in this. I just want to share awareness. I want to share the understanding, because if we our awareness knowingly, if we can understand how this all, the truth of things and how this all is, then that understanding alone is going to have our actions be from a pure place and not a corrupt place. We'll get all this corruption off of us, and care and love will come back to its natural state. And I always talk about love first, because in my childhood, or I'd say basically when I was 12 anyway, right around there, I decided God is love. And that saved me. I had that with me always. That just that simple statement, because I didn't use my head much. I felt my way through life, and so God is love got me. And I wasn't religious. This was just feeling. One evening out by myself on my bike, and I was in a lot of pain from, emotional pain from feeling hurt or whatever. But when I felt that wind in the sky and the hugeness of things, and how that made me feel amongst all that pain, just that one moment, how it took away my pain. And it felt like a love, it felt like a purity, it felt like a washing free, a cleansing for just a moment. And I didn't lose it. I grabbed it and stuck it in my back pocket and went back into the house and went back hurting again and stayed that way. So it's been a lifetime of coming through that so I want to thank Rupert again, because he just helped me understand with the head, because I have, since I was 57, I've been using my head. And so I've been studying and reading and doing a lot of head work. And so coming upon Rupert helped me understand. When I finally got to Rupert, it was like truth I was like, oh, this connects to the things I've come up with, and it fits. This is tying everything together with that bow that I've felt my way through life so much. It was feeling and head came together at that intersection of the finite self and ever-present space of no time. It just kabam. And so I'm not really interested in piling more stuff in my brain. This is continuous and ever present, and I love it. And I'm just here. Anyway, so it's the first time in my life I'm here. So I think that about does it for this morning. I wanted to fit this in, like I said, because I'm busy. I volunteered for something this evening, and tomorrow I will be with a dear friend. And so yeah, what a great way to wake up a day, or to enter a day, or be here, just be here. Oh. Okay. Talk later.